speech.
In this auditorium, how many people are suffering from war? Then, how many people are enduring the coronavirus? Now, how many people are agonized from the no Wi-Fi zone? You know what I mean, right? Like this, it is impossible to live without cell phones and Wi-Fi in today's life. The internet has become a major part of our lives. During the pandemic, we couldn't even meet our friends and teachers without Wi-Fi. At first, everyone panicked and was concerned about how many disadvantages online classes could have. However, these thoughts quickly turned into new benefits for the global educational platform. This means that there are thousands of benefits that online classes provide, such as flexibility, reduced cost, and so on. Not only that, there's a sense of digital interaction, which blocks physical connection between students. Through this, students can prevent blocking the interruption of other students. For my own part, one thing I really liked was that one of my classmates, who is always a super noisy kid at school, could not disturb others during online classes because the teacher simply zipped his mouth by pressing the mute button on her computer. This is our part of the story. What about the rest of the world? Unfortunately, 1.5 billion students were impacted by the critical educational deficiencies. Ladies and gentlemen, are there any strategies to deal with this digital interaction, remote educational support, teacher networking, and more? Well, firstly, there are few subjects that are neglected or skipped due to the discomforts of online classes. Remember how sad we were when we couldn't have activities like PE and experiment in laboratory classes? In my opinion, online PE classes were hard for students to move around their houses since it can distract the neighbors. Luckily, the school can provide VR to help students feel as if they're really exercising. Another solution for gaining internet access is zero-rating services. When I was having a science fair, I needed to have materials for it. My teacher suggested an application. Until then, I didn't know that I needed to purchase it. Isn't this so unfair? Like the example that I mentioned, in order to use data, users need to pay additional costs to the device they're using. This barrier is solved by zero-rating services, which can provide access to websites or applications that have no data cost. Adding to that, there should be a sustainable way of making online classes for developed countries. According to The Atlantic, a telecommunications company will transmit the internet to a network of solar-powered high-flying balloons, transmitting it back to users on Earth. It means that renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydropower will also be a good alternative. This will be perfect for the environment and the people suffering. Having people in a world suffering with no access to internet service was a problem. But we can solve it, and it is going to be cleared up. Our whole world is one big family, and if one suffers, everyone suffers. Alex Wong, member of the executive committee at the World Economic Forum, said, "We know it is possible to break down the digital divide for the 55% of the world's population that is still not connected. Now, it's time for governments, businesses, and civil society to make it happen. Therefore, it is time for all nations to come together to bring change." Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for the speech. Now the examiners will give you follow-up questions.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
In the beginning, your speech is really well written. Your thesis is clear. Your performance is great as well. In your thesis, you state thousands of benefits that online classes provide: flexibility, reduced costs, and then you gave some great examples. I'm wondering, what do you think? You're a student, and I'm a teacher, so I'm curious. What do you think was the biggest benefit for you with online classes?
So
What did you?
sorry to interrupt, but what I liked about online classes is because when you go to school, the thing about it is I'm kind of lazy of waking up. So like if you have online classes, like for workers too, they don't really want to go out because like they need to wake up early for work. That's the same thing for me. For like online classes, I can wake up like about like 10 minutes or 15 minutes so before online classes starts because like then I have time for brushing my teeth and eating breakfast and so on. So I really liked about that because I could like stay a little bit late until the time was ready for the online class to start. And also another thing that I mentioned in my speech about disturbing others, like some of the kids in school really want to talk about everything. So like we don't have time to go on the lesson forward. So like it's like gives us a time to kind of concentrate on the class while they don't have time to interrupt. So I think that was good.
Great. No, thanks for the response. Great performance.